name is Michael Genet, and I'm living right here in the heart of Manhattan. And this right here is one of my many showbiz stories. So one Christmas, a while back now, my kids were both still little. We were going through a serious rough patch financially. It was some difficult times financially. My wife had just gone back to school to get her master's, and I, unfortunately, was in the midst of one of the longest droughts in my entire career. I mean, for almost 2 years, I couldn't get an acting job. I mean, nobody would hire me anywhere, anyone, any place at all. I mean, I could have been number one most wanted on the FBI's most wanted list, and I still couldn't get arrested. I mean, I had the luck of a turkey at Thanksgiving. So anyway, we had just taken our kids down to Macy's, to see Santa Claus. But that evening, just as they always did, they gave me their handwritten Christmas list so that I could take them to the post office and mail them off to Santa Claus, just in case, Santa forgot a couple things that they had told him that they wanted. Now, their lists were beautiful lists, right? I mean, they were sweet and innocent. There was nothing outlandish, nothing over the top. My kids weren't greedy kids. Their Christmas list was the kind of list that every child ought to be able to desire and ought to be able to have fulfilled. But when I read their list that year, all I could do was shake my head because we were broke. And look, when I'm telling you that we were broke, I don't mean we were behind, in a few bills or a little short on cash. I mean, in our checking account at that time, we had $26.36 to our name. I mean, the number was so low that I wrote it down on the calendar in my bedroom, right? December 17th, $26.36. The number was so pathetic that I circled it in this bright red ink. So what was I going to do, right? I mean, number one, how was I going to feed my family? 2, how was I going to provide Christmas for my kids? And 3, how was I going to find a way to look like a man in my wife's eyes? Well, I was thoroughly disgusted with myself. So, in a fit of anger, I sat down on the edge of my bed in my bedroom, and I started having an argument with God. I started yelling at God. I said, fine. If that's how this is going to be, fine. That's it. I quit. And just like that, I stormed right out the house. Now, I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't have a clue as to what I was going to do. All I knew is that we had $26.36 to our name, and God dog snabbit, I had to get the heck out of there. So, like I said, I live right here in Manhattan. So what I did was I ran on over to Broadway, and I marched myself into the Armed Forces Recruitment Center right there in Times Square. And there was a captain sitting at the desk. And I walked up to him, stuck out my chest, and I said, yo, I want to join the Marines. And the captain, he real coolly raised his head. He looked over at me and he said, I'm going to need to see some ID. Captain looked at my driver's license, looked back up at me, slid my driver's license back across the table and said, sorry, can't help you. You're too old. You missed the age requirement cutoff by 3 months. I'm trying to feed my family here. He said, sorry, can't help you. So now, what was I going to do? Well, I dragged my rusty behind on back home. That's what I did. But the second I walked through my door, my telephone rang. And she was calling from a radio station, and they had heard about me. I don't know how, but they had heard about me. And they were looking for someone who could play an irreverent urban Santa Claus, street Santa Claus, on the air for the Christmas holidays, and they wanted to know if I wanted the job. She said if I would just say yes, she would overnight me a check. When I heard her say that, I looked in the mirror, I looked back at the phone, and I said, how, baby? Well, that moment right there was a lifeline. It helped me provide Christmas for my kids, save face with my wife, and it got us back on track just enough. It didn't put us ahead, but it got us back on track just enough so that other things could happen, other steps forward could be taken. In this tumultuous time we're living in, with things that we do as artists especially, we need to find a way to hold on. We need to find that moment that gives us an opportunity to continue to rise. So here's to you and all that you do in the midst of all this struggle, in the midst of this social unrest, racial unrest, political upheaval, people fighting a virus that is out of control because of ridiculously lacking leadership. Here's to you, all of you, whose lives have been sidetracked, been put on hold, can't go out, can't get a gig. Just hold on. There's a phone call about to happen for you. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but it's coming. Stay strong, stay up. Thank you for letting me tell my story.